So, picture this. It's late 2025, and Bitcoin has basically become the new global financial standard. Kinda seems obvious now, doesn't it? But what if I told you that not too long ago, people thought it was a complete and utter joke? In this explainer, we're going to unpack the wild story of how this fringe idea, laughed at by all the experts, became the very bedrock of a new financial world.
And trust me, this isn't just some dry text story. It's a total roller coaster. We're talking anonymous creators, catastrophic hacks, and a wealth transfer so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. To really get how we got here, we need to jump in our time machine and go back to when the world saw Bitcoin, well, very, very different.
In the very beginning, this was pretty much what everyone thought. The big financial world didn't just ignore Bitcoin. They actively made fun of it. Seriously, they called it everything from a Ponzi scheme to money for criminals. Its obituary was written over and over and over again. But then, something just shifted. You fast forward to 2024, and the world's biggest asset manager, BlackRock, is calling it digital gold. The entire story completely flipped on its head. It went from being a forgotten fad to an absolute cornerstone of the financial world.
So, the big question is, what on earth happened in between? What were those key moments that turned a digital curiosity into a global financial powerhouse? All right, let's go all the way back to the very beginning.
Our story really kicks off in the wreckage of the 2008 financial crisis. Nobody trusted the banks. Trust was at an all-time low. And it was right in the middle of all this chaos that a mysterious figure known only by the name Satoshi Nakamoto dropped a 9-page document online that would end up changing everything. So on Halloween of 2008, the idea was just out there. A couple of months later, the very first block was mined, and boom, the network was officially alive. For more than a year, though, it was just this tiny niche thing for a small group of computer scientists. But on May 22, 2010, everything changed with the first ever real-world purchase. 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. But that Genesis block, that very first one, it was more than just the start of some new tech. It was a message, a hidden statement from Satoshi, baked right into the code itself. And this wasn't just some random line of text. It was a real headline from the Times newspaper, talking about the ongoing bank bailouts. It was a crystal clear signal about Bitcoin's entire purpose, to be an alternative to a system that a lot of people felt was fundamentally broken.
Okay, now we enter a whole new chapter. This was a time of total chaos and experimentation. You could call it Bitcoin's trial by fire, a time when it was pushed to its absolute limits by illegal markets and spectacular failures that honestly could have destroyed it for good.
This right here perfectly captures the whole journey. What started as a simple pizza order has become the symbol of Bitcoin's mind-boggling rise in value. Those 10,000 coins are now worth an absolute fortune. It's really a testament to the power of this new technology. In its early days, Bitcoin's first real breakout use case was, let's just say, controversial. It was the Silk Road, a notorious black market on the dark web. And yeah, that connection seriously damaged his reputation, but it also proved something absolutely crucial. It was censorship resistant. For the very first time, we had a currency that no government or bank could shut down.
And then, disaster struck. Mt. Gox, which was the biggest Bitcoin exchange in the world at the time, just collapsed. 850,000 Bitcoin vanished into thin air. The price crashed, and you better believe the media was right there, ready to write Bitcoin's obituary yet again.
So, how in the world did Bitcoin survive this? The answer is in its core technology, the blockchain. Just think of it like a shared public notebook that's copied and spread out across thousands of computers. This decentralized setup means that the failure of one company, even a giant one like Mt. Gox, couldn't kill the whole network. The blockchain just kept going, block after block.
So after surviving the Wild West years, Bitcoin started to grow up. And the same people who once laughed it off, well, they started to pay very close attention. Wall Street was coming, and they were bringing a whole lot of money with them.
The real turning point probably came in 2020 with the pandemic. As governments were printing money like there was no tomorrow, people started to worry about inflation. Big companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla saw Bitcoin as a potential safe haven. That corporate buying really paved the way for the ultimate stamp of approval, the US approving Spot ETFs in 2024. Suddenly, the floodgates were wide open. So what was the big appeal for these massive institutions?
It really all boils down to one powerful idea: digital scarcity. In a world where governments can essentially print infinite amounts of money, Bitcoin offered something totally unique: a supply that was limited, fixed, and locked into its code.
And there it is. 21 million. That's it. That's the total number of Bitcoin that will ever exist. Not one more. In a world where money can be created out of thin air, this absolute predictable scarcity has become an incredibly powerful magnet for capital from every corner of the globe.
And that brings us to today, late 2025. Something huge just happened: the 2024 halving, an event that cut the creation of new Bitcoin in half. This supply shock, hitting at the exact same time as this insatiable demand from institutions, has pretty much transformed Bitcoin from just a speculative asset into a real piece of the new financial world's infrastructure. And its usefulness has just exploded. It's not just a place to store value anymore. With the growth of Layer 2 networks, think of them like an express lane built on top of the main blockchain. Bitcoin can now be used for super fast, super cheap payments anywhere on Earth. The crazy price swings of its early days have calmed down, making it a reliable and transparent global ledger for the digital age.
So from a simple 9-page PDF to a global financial standard, Bitcoin's journey has been absolutely revolutionary. It's a huge reminder that the biggest, most disruptive ideas often start on the fringes without asking anyone for permission. The question isn't if digital currencies will change the world anymore. The question is how. So, what do you think comes next?